Hey, Vikes fans. Ryan Jones here with Vikings Central with some news to share. So it sounds like Kwesi came out, said he has a plan for the additional first round pick, but how that plan is going to unfold, we're not quite sure, but it does allow some versatility in the draft for us. So here's kind of my interpretation, and here's what I think the plan is with the two first round picks. First and foremost, I think Drake Maye is their guy. And I think they want to move to that pick number 3. And in my opinion, they probably have like a handshake deal already in place with the Patriots. But what they're unsure about is what Washington is going to do with that number 2 pick. So I think they want to go after Drake Maye. But if Washington takes Maye at 2, well, I'm not sure they're as high on Jaden Daniels. I think in KOC's offense that a guy like Drake Maye probably fits a little better than the versatility in a guy like Jaden Daniels. I think they assume that Washington's probably going to go Jaden Daniels, but you're not going to move up and give up a ton of draft capital to get that number 3 pick unless you're 100% sure you can get your guy. So everyone who's wanting the Vikings to move up today, I don't think you're going to see that until draft day. I don't think you're going to see it until that number 3 pick comes around. But let's say, for instance, that Washington does take Drake Maye, and then the Patriots go Jaden Daniels. Well, what team between the Patriots and the Vikings realistically are going to take a quarterback? Right now on the board as it stands, I don't think any of them. If you look at the Giants, would be the only question mark. If you look at the Giants, though, I think after their season last year, Brian Daboll's probably on the hot seat in New York. And so they got to win now. And they got Daniel Jones there. You're not going to bring in a rookie quarterback with Daniel Jones, who already proved he can win in the playoffs even. We saw that firsthand. So I think they're going to try to build that lineup, try to build their roster. They need help at tackle and offensive line. So I could see them going there. I don't think that anyone else is really going to take a shot at J.J. McCarthy. So if the Vikings stay put at pick 11, I think there's a really good shot that J.J. McCarthy just falls into their lap. However, the only thing you'd have to be wary of is the Broncos maybe hopping over them and trading up to get J.J. McCarthy, which I don't know. In my opinion, I think it's worth the risk, worth the gamble. At the end of the day, I think the gap between Drake Maye and J.J. McCarthy is larger than the gap between J.J. McCarthy and Bo Nix or Michael Penix. You see what I'm saying? So why not go ahead and get a guy like a Byron Murphy with that pick 11, and then when pick 23 rolls around, you can grab Bo Nix or Penix. Or flip side, McCarthy does fall, you grab him at 11, and then pick 23 comes around. Johnny Newton could be there, I think, at pick 23. Or maybe even like a Nate Wiggins at corner. I would love to see interior D-line be a beefed up big time within the Vikings. Interior D-line needs some serious help. Interior offensive line needs some serious help too. So Powers Johnson from Oregon, I really like him at center. I don't know how everyone else feels about Garrett Bradbury. I think that he has done the most that he can with his God-given abilities. I've said that over and over again. I don't think you could be a much better center than he has been with his size. He's just undersized. That's all it boils down to. And I mean, he's quick off the ball. He's good pre-snap. His snapping ability, you don't really see any arid snaps with Garrett Bradbury either. So he has pretty much everything you could want except the size and strength. And I'm sorry, but if you can't sit and anchor down and take on some of these massive nose tackles and defensive tackles, then pressure up the middle is going to lose you a ton of games. Like, that's the worst kind of pressure. Ask any quarterback who plays. Pressure off the edge, especially blindside, like, they don't see it. So for them, like, they're not really it doesn't give them happy feet or anything like that. Pressure in front of your face that's coming right at you is the worst kind of pressure. Someone right in your grill as you're trying to look down the field is going to hurt your ability to go through progressions and even see your receivers and shoot. I mean, let's be honest. Say what you want about Kurt. We saw that against the Giants in the playoffs. Pressure right in his face. 4th down, gotta have it. All he sees is pressure in his face, knows he's going to go down, gets rid of the ball, and we get a 3-yard gain on 4th and 8. I mean, yeah, that's why, and I'm telling you, it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. If you don't have someone who can block the middle, you're going to constantly have pressure in your face, and it's always going to be a problem. So yes, I will lead the charge up the mountain to say let's find a replacement for Garrett Bradbury soon, ASAP. Especially if we bring in a new quarterback, then yeah, I definitely want somebody to. I want somebody who can hold their own in the middle, and I think Evan Ingram will shine. I think he'll be a baller at guard once we have somebody who can anchor down that center position. Anyway, I digress. That's my 2 cents on the center position. I've always had that take. I won't call it a hot take. I think a lot of people feel that way. But having said that, yes, I think the ultimate plan is for the Vikings to trade up to 3 for Drake Maye. And I'm not trying to name drop or anything, but I happen to have a connection close to the Maye family. And I asked him what the Maye family, where their hearts are at. And they said, and I can read you exactly what he said. I posted it as well, the screenshot of the text messages. So if you really want to go look at it, you can. But he literally said, we are all praying they, as in the Vikings, get up there for him. His whole family wants him to be a Viking. They're praying for it. So that would be an awesome time. Super exciting for the Vikings to land a guy like that. I will say this, when it comes to Drake Maye, you watch his film, there are a few things he needs to work on. And if you follow me on Twitter at JONE_Z30, you've seen me post about this before. He is my favorite quarterback prospect outside of Caleb Williams, but he isn't just immediately polished, jump in there. He has the best arm, in my opinion. However, the footwork and pocket presence needs a little work. He tends to drift in his drop back. And when I say drift, you'll see him kind of, as he's dropping back, he'll drift to what side he's initially reading. And I think that's a problem that can be fixed, granted, fairly quickly. But, if it's a tendency, you got to break with bad habits. And so, yeah, the pocket awareness, and he tends to get a little heel clicky. If you watch him on his drop back, sometimes his feet will come together, and you really need a wide base when you're dropping back in the pocket. So just, again, still my favorite prospect. I would be over the moon if that's who the Vikings can land, but that doesn't mean that there aren't a couple things he needs to get a little better at. And there's a couple quarterbacks in the NFL that have made, unconventional dropbacks work. Dak Prescott comes to mind. Say what you want about the guy, but he's been a fairly successful quarterback, and his dropback is anything but conventional. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. Didn't mean to go on a ramble about the center position, but I think if you're like me, you're probably sick of seeing Garrett Bradbury get plowed over as well. But anyway, until next time, y'all, take care.